And I also want to say this because during all, like, really, really back in them days, I had a very, my communication skills was horrible, horrible. And when people would say stuff and do stuff, mind you, like, I don't think I said it. We had like a lot of good times. Like when I first got there, they were going to a Haitian church, and my best friend was the praise leader, and I was even in the praise dancing, and we did a lot of stuff, fun stuff together. Um, but in all actuality, because I don't want nobody feeling like I felt I was ungrateful or I was being disrespectful. I never disrespected this lady. She kept talking sideways to me a lot of times, and I would keep my mouth shut because they was giving me a place to lay my head and finish school, and um and like I said, my best friend and then the second oldest was my best friend. So, and the reason why we kept falling out was because my best friend didn't grow up with her siblings. She grew up with her father, and the only she was the only child. So she had a personality of like a old like Haitian woman, but still she still had that fun side of her. And then she had that also that single top child syndrome where when she would not get her way, she had a tendency of like getting disrespectful basically. I was the opposite because every time I said something or every time like I would voice my opinion, I would get in trouble for it. So I learned very young to just keep your mouth shut because they're going to think um either way you're going to I was always being told that I was stupid. I was always told that I'm fresh at the mouth. I'm always so a lot of times I kept my mouth shut, and then you could see the animosity between my best friend and her siblings. And I'll get into the story of why um the two oldest really didn't get along. Like they really didn't get along. And I think the animosity from the other four kids towards my best friend was because all they all had separate dads. So there's three dads. My best friend's dad found out about the situation that was going on in their household and came and got his daughter. I think they no, I know they had animosity because their dads didn't care and their dads knew what was going on in that house and their dads didn't care enough to come get them or even to fix their situation. So when my best friend came back into their lives, they already felt some type of way because one, they didn't grow up with her. Then two, you didn't have to grow up. Even though she went through what she went through, she still lived a better life than they did because her father actually gave to about her. But then her father was real strict too and brought her up just like my mom brought me up in a very strict environment. They didn't have that. They didn't have that type of structure. So seeing this from the outside and then their mom treating me like that, and I'm not used to being treated like that. Like I understand like you're not going to be um um treated like a princess or anything because I'm I understood I was another bill, but I still contribute. At that time too, I was also getting food stamps, so I was also putting food in that house. Even though if I would fill up your gas tank or and give you $50, I still was contributing. It was not like I was just freeloading off of them. So when that whole situation happened, and I was Yeah, and I did call. Mind you, I called, and the reason why I keep saying the person I had kids with is because even using the father of my kids or my baby daddy, he was. If y'all see, like Haitians will give you names by what either how you look like, your personality, everything. This man, even with our first, when all this is, and we had one kid together, was never really a father. To this day, with two of, they don't know him. They don't know him. So I don't, to give you with something that is a father or a daddy or a dad, you're none of that. You've never been in my kids' lives. You don't deserve to even be called baby father or baby daddy or the father of my, you don't deserve that. You've never been a father. You're just the person that I had kids with. So when I call him, he already went back to Fort Lauderdale because he was like, well, since I made it so hard for him to, he felt like he didn't want to be up there no more, which is bull crap because he had to start the next semester and he was waiting on his financial aid. And mind you, at this time, and the reason why I didn't go back to my mom's house was because I was on the last week of my internship. That's what, like, this is how desperate I was to finish school. Mind you, I when I got there, I was already in a size 20. By the time I left their house, I was in a size 12. That's how stressful these people made my life. Like, but I still was trying to push, and I was on the last week of my internship, and she did that. Mind you, they already was offering me a job right when I was done with school. So I couldn't go back home because I was gonna get a job that was gonna pay me $12, $13 an hour. Why am I gonna lose that all because she wanted to try to show off in front of her baby daddy and then put me down at the same time. So that's why I called him. But he was like, he's moving. We gotta find a place, but he's gonna come back up the next day. Which he did come up the next day. We had to literally be in a hotel room for I think like 2 to 3 days until I was finished with my internship. And then I told them I had an emergency. Like I said my grandpa was in the hospital and I need to go down. They gave me a week to come to Fort Lauderdale, deal with my grandpa's situation, and then I would start. Like, and I was so proud of myself because for so long, when you're being constantly called stupid, and when you're constantly being told you're not gonna be nothing, when you're constantly being put down all the time, for me to have accomplished that, and I didn't even finish high school, and for me to go back, get my GED, finish this program, and I'm off. I'm not a waitress anymore, making $2.14. I mean $2.14 plus tips. Now I'm jumping into making $13 an hour, 12. I think it was $12 or $13 an hour. I was so proud of myself. I didn't care what anybody said. And yes, I was gonna put up with him cheating and us fighting and everything like that because I never thought I was gonna be able to do something like that, and I did. And she tried to literally take it away from me.